Well, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the second webinar for the 2025 Swim for Alligator Lighthouse. We appreciate you spending a little time with us this evening. And tonight we're going to switch things up a little bit. We have a few separate topics from the first webinar that we did several weeks ago. We are recording, so we'll have this up on the website and on socials once again for everybody to watch if they were unable to make it tonight. But before we get started, I want to definitely go through and introduce several folks. My name is Matt Dunn, co-founder of Salty Sports Society and the co-race director of the Swim for Alligator Lighthouse. Also, Casey Taker, co-founder of Salty Sports Society and also co-race director of the Swim for Alligator Lighthouse. Um, Rob Dixon, whose camera is off for the moment, no problem. Rob is driving, by the way. Rob is the executive director of Save Alligator Lighthouse and the only person to have swam every year of the race and done so solo until this year. He'll be doing it as a two-man team with Lighthouse Larry. Larry, wave hello. There he is,
Woo!
world-renowned artist and the first person ever to complete the swim for Alligator Lighthouse back in 2011. Is that
Uh,
correct?
yes.
2011. But you did so from Bud and Mary's
Bud
Marina
and Mary.
with a very tough chop that day.
Uh, no, that was actually the when I did it and all everyone swam with me as far as the fighting manatees. It was actually a gorgeous day.
Oh,
It
wonderful.
was nice, and I had an extreme outgoing uh, current in the channel of Bud and Mary's, which was awesome.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And then I also want to make sure that we introduce Jared Matz. Jared is founder of 409 Consulting, and we refer to him as Race Boss. He is the on the water, on the swim course race boss on radio with all of the um, water safety boats, a lot of personnel, the folks on the jet skis, certainly our helicopter staff that's up in the air, keeping the course safe for everyone and also our team on land as well. So, Jared, give everybody a wave if you don't mind. Thanks, pal. Um, Before we jump back to Jarrett for his presentation, if you have any questions while we're going through, if you would please just jot those down in the chat feature. That's if you're on Zoom tonight, down in the bottom towards the left-hand side of the bottom screen of the screen there, and just type your question in there, and we'll go through those at the end after we get through our presentations here in this second webinar. So. Jared, I'm going to turn things back over to you for the swim course review. Um, and a lot of this information will go through as well in those mandatory safety meetings, but we figured we'd get a head start this year and include some of this information in this webinar. So, Jared, take it away.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Were you going to pull up the race chart?
You bet. Right
All
there.
right.
Here we go. It'll be a little small on the screen, but we'll work through it.
That's good. I got my glasses on tonight, so I'm okay.
Here we go. All right.
All right. Good evening, everybody. So this chartlet that we have is like a smaller version of what we're going to go over the day of the race, and also the Friday evening before. There's going to be 3 safety meetings, one at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 6 p.m. Those are mandatory. There'll be more in-depth information as we get closer to the race, so it is mandatory still that you go through that one of those 3 races with your swimmer and kayak. And tonight, I'm going to briefly touch on the course. I'm going to go over some safety objectives that you need to think about when you're heading out on the water, especially with your support kayak and the team race event as well. So we're going to start from shore side. We're going to get everybody ready to go. You'll start hearing the PA system talk about swimmers get ready, go to your area location. So that's going to be right where the entryway is, right there on the water, swimmer staging area. And there'll also be your kayakers are going to go a separate staging area where they're going to be lifting and putting their kayaks into the water. They will meet up with everybody right outside by buoy number 2. So once you start in your wave of groups that you're going to be going in, they're going to go groups from 1 to 10 and then 10 to 20. We're going to go 10 at a time. We're going to span it out. It's going to be very quick intervals in between. So as you start flowing out, your kayak support and the racer need to be married up by buoy number 2. Why is this? It's very important because, as you know, there's a quarter mile in between each one. So that gives you sufficient time to get broke away from the crowd and for your kayaker to find you. Because your kayak is your pace. He's your safety while you're on the water. He's your support. He or she is your support. And they're also there for you to look out for you and to make sure that you're heading in the right direction, that any kind of safety issues that might come up that need to be communicated back to one of the safety vessels or back to shore, that's going to be your primary means of doing that as well. So married by buoy number 2. If you're not married by buoy number 2, we're going to stop you. We're going to find you. We're going to reunite you, and then you're going to be on your way. You're not going to continue on until you're married with your kayaker. So I'll go over that more in depth when it comes to that Friday safety brief as well. As you go out, there's going to be a safety vessel, a midway vessel, that's going to be out between buoy number 4 and number 5. That, actually, it's going to be a little bit further out. Support barge is going to be between 7 and 8. All right, that's the midway point. It's a 4-mile swim. So your first mile is going to be out to buoy number 4, and then mile 2 is going to be out to the support barge. That barge is going to be where you're going to be brought back to if you cannot finish the race, and then you'll be transported back to shore. They will also have a support staff on there that will be relaying information to myself and the other support boats that are going to be there for your safety. So if you need assistance while you're on the course, or you can't reunite with your swimmer in a timely manner, you get separated, communications will go through that. The support boat will come in. I'll direct a support boat to help you find your kayaker. And then once you're married up, you can go again. You'll have 3 opportunities. After the third one, that's when I come and talk to you and find out why we can't stay together and stay married up and support our kayak support and swimmer support as directed for the safety and cohesion of the course and for accountability of all swimmers and personnel. And if you decide that you just can't keep up, or for some reason you're not able to keep up with your swimmer or vice versa, then we might look at pulling you off the course. Remember, 3 strikes and you're out. If there's a reason for it and you meet all the time marks and you're just having to either slow down for your kayaker to keep up, because sometimes you have to do that, or the kayaker needs to slow down for the swimmer to keep up, we'll figure that out and get you on your way. My goal is to have everybody finish the race together and safely. If I find that you can't do that, then we're going to have a conversation, and sometimes people do come off. Don't put yourself in a situation to where you're jeopardizing yourself or your support kayak. Remember, if your support kayak bonks out, then you're done, unless you're a 3-man team and we decide to let y'all continue to go and we bring your other kayaker back. But that'll be on the water, decision point made, and that's going to be a team decision from everybody on the team, not just 2 people. It's everybody on the team has to decide if they're leaving the person to go back and you're going to continue. And I will be there to help you work through that decision process as well. So once we span out and you get past the support barge and we get out towards the end, this is going to be your first time interval. That's going to be coming up around the lighthouse. All right. So if you don't meet that time cap, which I believe is 3.5 hours in from your time chip start time at the lighthouse, I'm pretty lenient on that because I have seen before, and I'm the one that makes the decision who's at that mark. It's usually by buoy number 14 and 15. If you're not there by that time frame, then we start looking at pulling you off the course. Okay. I have been with people that have been the last people meeting that time mark and been right there falling behind, and I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say, we'll see how you do when you round. And for some reason, they'll get their pace back together. They'll get around the lighthouse. They might have a little bit different current, or they just found a new pep in their step, and the cohesion of the team is really moving swiftly. So they actually make the next time mark, which is that last mile and they get to continue with the race. That will be a decision made at that point. So I'll be all over the course that day. You'll see other support boats. They're going to be having orange flags that will be flying from the highest part of their mast. And they're also going to be wearing the orange volunteer shirts, which I'll have on Friday at each of the safety briefings. But that's how you identify support. Support is there for your safety. I have outer law enforcement for security. Security is going to be the United States Coast Guard out there, who will be running as the patrol commander, and they'll have Florida Wildlife Commission law enforcement vessels, 2 each. And we'll also have 2 Monroe County Sheriff's Marine vessels out there as well as the Florida State Guard. They'll be on the outer perimeter of what you see of the support boats. So their main objective is to any boats coming into that designated area. We have this whole race course shut down, a navigable waterway, for 8 hours. We have 8 hours to have this race to ourselves. The security vessels, which are the law enforcement vessels, they'll go out, interdict the vessels coming in towards that area and make sure that they go out and around. They're there for your safety. The safety boats are there for your safety and support on the boat, but they're also the security vessels' eyes and ears. So sometimes you might not have a support boat. You might see one, and the next minute you might not see it. They didn't leave, they're going to come back. But they might have to go out and direct somebody to go out to intercept a vessel that might be coming in at a high rate of speed. We also have a Florida Wildlife Commission helicopter, which is there for y'all's safety and security as well, who's doing that outward perimeter search about a mile and a half out, making sure that vessels traveling at a high rate of speed are diverted to go out and around the lighthouse as well for y'all's safety. I'll pause there for any questions that we might have.
Casey, do you want to run through the questions we have in the chat?
I think I got one. What do you mean 3 strikes and you're out? So what I mean by that, a safety boat will be your first initial, a safety boat if you're unable to marry up kayak and swimmer after buoy 2 and you keep falling behind like I stated, that's your first warning. Hey, get back together. If we have to reunite you with your swimmer, that's considered a warning too. So if that happens multiple times, and we know who you are because you have race numbers on, and that's all being transmitted back to Shore Safety, who's my assistant safety director, who's keeping track of all that. So if you're having issues and you're having troubles keeping up with the pace, like I said, that's a strike. If a support vessel comes up to assist you and you are negative towards them and you are using vulgar language, that's also a warning. We have had that happen in the past. And I'll go over that more in depth when it comes to the safety meeting. That's a strike as well. So 3 strikes, that's when I come in and I have a discussion with you if you're going to continue and if you're going to be able to keep up, or if you're going to continue with the bad behavior. We'll have those discussions. And if I feel that you're going to live up to your end of the bargain, I'll let you proceed. If I feel that you're not, then that's 3 strikes and you're out, and I'll pull you off the course. That's what I mean by that.
How wide is the swimming perimeter around the lighthouse?
How wide is this? So there's going to be 2 large commercial vessels out there. One is going to be the Boy Scout vessel, which I think is a 45-foot Newton, and one is a, I think Fantasy is also a Newton, but I think it's a little bit bigger. They're going to be anchored on each side of the lighthouse. Can you go ahead and scroll up there a little bit, please, so we can get it? So the turn at the lighthouse, where that arrow is at, on each side of the lighthouse, you're going to have 2 vessels that are going to have the flag. You're going to go inside that closest point of approach to the lighthouse, around that boat that's anchored there, directing y'all, and then on the other side as well. And then you'll pick up the buoy line again. So going out, remember, we want to keep the buoys to our left-hand side at all times, right? Out and around, and then on the left side coming back as well. If you find the buoys on your right side, that means that you might have skipped over and you're in the incoming traffic and you might want to scoot back over. So the perimeter out there, you'll see it. And if you don't, they'll direct you. That's what the boats are out there to do. What is there a distance kayakers need to be from the swimmer? So I don't care how close you are to your swimmer is going to let you know what their comfort is, okay? And with that, A lot of issues we've had with kayakers, when I say your kayaker is unable to keep up with the swimmer, some of these people come from all over the world. Sometimes they don't have the option to train with their swimmer, so you might be paired at the last minute. And also, some might be training in lakes that don't have the current that a sea state might have, or the chop. So that might be a little bit different environment that you're used to training in. And sometimes the kayakers fall a little bit behind, or the swimmers might fall behind of the kayakers. So as long as you can visually have eye contact on your swimmer, and your swimmer can have some way of determining who his support kayak is, or her kayak, what I suggest, I have seen balloons on there before. I do not like seeing balloons, and I want to get away from that altogether, because that's a hazard to marine life if they do come off of your kayak. I would rather go with a flag. I would rather go with a line with maybe something in the water tied off to it that they can see, that's bright in color behind the kayak, or a flag at the front or back part, a shirt that you can wear, a hat that they can look up and signify that that's them. Your support kayak. That's what we need from the kayaker itself. So there's not really a safe distance. Just make sure, within 5 yards. You don't want to get 10 yards away, because then you might start failing to look back and keep an eye on your swimmer. You also want to stay close enough to your swimmer that if something did happen and you needed to come in and intervene and kind of protect your swimmer, you can get there within a reasonable amount of time and put the kayak between the swimmer and whatever object might be a hazard to that swimmer, if that makes sense. There's also going to be, I'll go in this more depth, but there is an evacuation of the course in case there's like inclement weather that pops up. What I mean by inclement weather, I'm not talking thunderstorms. We can work through that. But if I feel the thunderstorm is not going to go away and we need to evacuate the course, we'll do so. Okay, what that'll be is 5 prolonged blasts from all safety boats. On my count, when I come over the radio, I'll tell them, they'll give 5 prolonged blasts. And what that'll do, they'll start saying we're evacuating the course. They'll let every swimmer or kayaker know at that point in time you're done. You're going to marry up with your kayak. You're not leaving. You're done swimming. That's when we're going to start collapsing the course from the outside down to the midway vessel. So the 2 large commercial vessels, all the support boats, we're going to daisy chain everybody off, get them on board the larger vessels. You're going to stay with your kayaker. We're going to start picking people out of the water, and we're going to safely and slowly, methodically account for everybody off the course, put them on the larger vessels, and then we're going to start shuttling people in. If you are close enough to shore, within that 1 mile, we're going to tell you you're done with the race, but continue moving in until you're picked up and brought in. Once you get into shore, everybody, no matter what happens, if you're pulled off the course due to injury, fatigue, brought back to the dock early, you all have to chip out for accountability, the same place that you started. If you fail to do that, then we're looking for somebody that we still think is out on the course, and that's going to start a whole nother search and rescue events on the course with the agencies that are out there. So it's very important if you're brought back, and if we do evacuate the course, if you're brought back individually because you can't finish, chip out. And I'll go over this again probably 10 times if anybody needs me to go through it, the safety brief on Friday, and probably I'm there the morning of as well. I can go through this again. So, and then as we collapse down and get everybody out, everybody evacuated off, although you're not coming back the same way you wanted to. We're going to be bringing you to different docks. You got to make it back to that start point and chip out. And everybody will stay at that location until we have accountability for everybody. All right, suggestions for size and types of coolers on kayaks. That is a great question, because one thing we don't want to have happen, we want to make sure that everything you take out with you on your kayak, that you bring back. That's your garbage, your food, wrappers, containers, whatever you have for yourself. I would go with some kind of soft pack, so that way it's a little bit easier for you on those kayaks to stash and lash down. Find a system that works for you. I've seen hard top coolers. I've seen soft coolers. Soft coolers, the large soft pack coolers are, I feel for me when I'm out on the water, is a lot better because I can also store a little bit better. And also if something happens, that floats a little bit better than the other ones and the lids don't come open and we don't have trash and everything else going everywhere. So we don't want to have a yard sale out there with everybody's stuff if the kayak does flip over. So make sure, when you're putting your trash and all your stuff back inside your cooler, that you secure it and that it's lashed down. Your stuff that you're using, swapping in and out of your kayaks, if you're on a team, make sure that that is not going to go in the water. You're not going to lose a life jacket or any kind of support stuff that you need for your race. That's very important. And also, you need to make sure that if you do go out there with a paddle, make sure you have a contingency. We have paddles break. We'll have some staged on the midway vessel, but make sure your gear is functional. Do a good test of it before you actually start and put it in the water. Check it 1 or 2, 3 times. It never fails. Somebody gets about a mile out and, a paddle breaks, they lose a paddle and they don't have a contingency for that. That's what the support boats are there for. We will get you a paddle. We'll get you whatever you need within reason. But you are self-sufficient pretty much for the race when it comes to your own hydration, your own nutrition, sunscreen, hydrate the day before. Please don't go out and party too hard the night before because we don't want to feed the fishes. And we also want to make sure everybody is hydrated, healthy, and able to finish the race. Any other questions that I see on there?
Not just yet.
Okay. That is about all I have from the safety standpoint. I don't have my my safety brief in front of me, which will go more in depth to a lot of the stuff on that Friday. But I appreciate everybody's questions, all great questions. And like I said, make sure that your swimmer can identify you, bright colors, flags. Stay away from balloons because that is a marine hazard for a lot of turtles, fish, and stuff like that. So we don't want to have that happen as well. And you are in a sanctuary. Also, one thing I forgot to bring up, which I bring up at the safety brief, for the people on here, when you get out to the lighthouse, there's going to be a lot of camera crews up there taking pictures. There's no reason for you to stop and try to get close to the lighthouse and take a picture. There'll be enough of that with the drones that they have in place and the camera crews that they have coming alongside and taking pictures. From what I've seen, all you're going to do is hinder your time, probably get you fatigued and probably get you hurt because if there is some sea state around there, the current and the waves that are around that lighthouse can't pull you into it. So just stay with your swimmer, keep them out and around that outer perimeter going around it. Please don't try to stop and get on the lighthouse or take a picture around it. And that is about all I have, unless Casey, Matt, you can think of some other questions that have come up from your other webinars or.
Nope. I think one of the biggest things, and we're going to keep reemphasizing this, everyone, including a lot of people on this call and Jared himself, everybody's volunteered a lot of time and effort for this event. The number one rule of the weekend is be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice. So if you were told something on the water, you were being told that because it's for your own good. It is for your own safety. And that team is out there to protect you. So again, we own that waterway. That is our waterway. It is permitted our waterway. So actually anyone on that waterway without our permission in the moment is trespassing and is subject to legal ramifications.
$25,000 fine.
Yeah.
So if Jarrett says do something, please just do it.
And Jerry, you were correct. The cutoff time to get out and around the lighthouse is 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
My memory's kind of slipping a little bit.
Yeah. And gang, we don't say this kind of stuff. We certainly don't. This is a once in a lifetime event. It is one of the most wonderful experiences you'll ever have, but it is something we just want you to respect what's going on. We are going to be 4 miles out in the ocean. And there is a reason that we do the things we do. So again, this isn't meant to scare you. We're going to have abundant water safety and you are going to feel very supported throughout this entire event. But that does require that rules be followed and that everyone pays attention and looks out for themselves, their kayakers, their swimmers, the whole 9 yards.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Casey. Casey, we'll continue on with you with some updates on registration changes, relay teams, deferrals, kayaks, dinner tickets, and more.
Yeah. So, gang, it has been a spicy week in the inbox. There have been a lot of people asking questions, moving around, booking last minute kayaks, booking last minute hotel rooms. We do want to let you guys know, number one, there are some hotel rooms available. Matt's going to provide some information on that later. Number two, if there are any changes to your registration, try to get those into us this week. The sooner we can get things updated, the better, and the faster that's going to make your process during check-in in the registration room. All right. If you've got people moving around and everything, please go in. You can log into runsignup.com, go to my races, my registrations, click on manage my registration. And in there, you can edit all of the questions. So please go in, make sure your emergency contact information is correct. Make sure your kayaker information is correct. Make sure your kayaker's emergency contact information is correct. I'm going to say this, if the emergency contact information is your name and your phone number, or your kayaker's emergency contact information is your name and your phone number, guess what? You're not leaving the room, and we're going to embarrass you in the room. Go in, do what you're supposed to, put in the right things. Again, this is a safety measure. If something happens, we need to make sure we have your emergency contact information. All right. So guys, make sure any of that stuff, all you have to do, again, log into Run Sign Up, go to my registrations, Swim for Alligator Lighthouse will pop up. If you don't see it, it might mean you have multiple Run Sign Up accounts. So double check which account, which email you use to sign up. But then just click on Manage My Registration, and in that gray bar that pops up, you'll see a host of menu options. You can go in there, you can update the answers to your questions, you can add a kayak if you need to. Whatever you need to do, you can do that in there. And then if you need any help beyond that, feel free to reach out. We're happy to get you taken care of before we get down to the event. If in the event of you start to get down there and changes need to be made on site, we can make those, but changes are not allowed to be made after Friday night. So this has happened a little bit before. People come down, friends don't show up. They go to the bar Friday night, they make some new friends, they start jumping in and on teams. Guys, we have to know when you're going into the water, what your number is, and everything. So make sure that as you get down here, if you have incomplete teams or anything like that, you're keeping us abreast of any changes that are made. That is super, super, super important. We've had people that have just tried to jump in on other people's numbers, and what you don't realize, if you have someone's number that is not on your wrist, something happens, I'm calling Susie's emergency contact instead of Lisa's, and it's not great. All right. So again, there's a reason we do those things. Please let us know. Happy to help. If you have folks that are registering late, please have them go online. Registration is going to stay open until Friday night. Have them go online and register before they get to the Amerique, so that they're already in the system and we can expedite that process once they're in the registration room.
Excellent.
That is it. We do have, again, we were reloaded on some single kayaks, but they are going fast. So please, if I'm putting in final kayak stuff this week, so try to get that stuff in ASAP.
Thank you, Casey. Appreciate that. And as Casey mentioned, dinner tickets, we still have dinner tickets available for the awards dinner. Those can be added in your registration flow on Run Sign Up as well. If we have not sold out by the time registration rolls around on site at the Amerique, then we will be able to sell those on site. But typically that does not happen. We do typically sell out prior to showing up next week on site at the resort. We also were notified by the hotel that there are still rooms available for Friday and Saturday night. We're going to package up some information. The link that we sent out for discounted rooms, that has expired. We're past our room cutoff block, but you can call the hotel and request to stay there if you have not booked rooms yet. So again, it's Thursday, September 4th, and there's plenty of time to book before next week if you choose to stay there. It's super convenient to be right there, wake up at the Amerique, and jump in the water from there and be able to rest afterwards right there on site. So We would love to fill up that hotel if possible. That's a big goal of the events. So again, if you want to switch up on your lodging where you're staying, or you want to extend it a little bit, please know that there are rooms available. We do have a few updates that we are going to send out to everyone. So Thursday, same time on the registration, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. At in the Fishbowl Room there at the Amerique Resort. Afterwards, as it is tradition, our reception at Florida Keys Brewing from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. You will get some beer tickets in the registration process. If you're there on Thursday, please join us at Florida Keys Brewing. They're a huge supporter of the race and have been for a very, very long time. They have a beer specific to the Alligator Lighthouse, and they donate money off of those beer sales every single year to help restore the lighthouse. So please support Florida Keys Brewing. Friday, we have not updated the website yet. We've made a request to our webmaster to get that done, but the pool practice at Founders Park will begin at 8 a.m., not 7 a.m. It'll begin at 8 a.m. and will go for 2 hours from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. Additionally, this year, we originally listed that there would be a $5 fee. They have lowered that to a $3 fee. So again, 8 to 10 on Friday morning at Founders Park for a pool practice swim, and the fee to do so to Founders Park to the pool itself is a $3 fee. Registration will open at 10 a.m. It will extend until 7 p.m. And as Jarrett and Casey have both mentioned, those mandatory safety briefings will happen at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. Again, if you are swimming or if you are a solo swimmer's kayaker, all swimmers, all kayakers must attend one of those mandatory safety meetings, again, at either 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or 6 o'clock. And Saturday morning, we will start on time. We have our Founders Wave that will go off with Rob and Larry at 7:40 a.m. Sharp. We will start on time. So be ready. The beach will open at 5:45 a.m. for anybody that does want to get out there early and begin packing their kayak. Again, 5:45 a.m. We just need a little bit of time in the morning to get a few final things set up. So please don't arrive until 5:45 a.m. and then you'll have all the time up until the race begins to pack your kayaks and get ready. And then we have some good news. When we hosted the first webinar, I believe the water temperature that day was 88 degrees, a little over 88 degrees. Today, the high water temperature out at the lighthouse was 86 degrees. So Rob has told us that there's been a bunch of rain down there in the last few days, and so it's cooled things off by a couple degrees. Hopefully, we'll see that trend continue. So yeah, we're excited about that. So final thing we're going to do here is just we'll do another screen share, and then we will show you. Casey, do you want to run through the athlete guide? And again, we're going to email this out to everyone, but we'll scroll through this and show you the athlete guide real quick, and then again, this will go out the next day or two, along with some other information for everybody that's already registered.
Yeah. And everyone, it's also the athlete guide is already up on the Salty Sports Society website under Swim for Alligator Lighthouse. So we'll drop that link in the chat. But it's already up there and it'll go out via email here shortly. So just a quick welcome from us. You guys are feel free to read that at your leisure. This is the schedule that Matt just reviewed. Biggest pieces of the pie here. Number one, there are no Saturday check-ins. Make sure that you are observing these times. When we say that registration closes at 7, this does not mean you're pulling up into the parking lot at 6:59. Please plan accordingly and work to be there to give yourself time to get registered before the end. And also note, again, our staff is there. Everybody's volunteering their time and they have a big day the next day too. So we want to make sure that we get them out early so they can go grab some dinner and get to bed. And make sure you're also attending these safety meetings. We can keep going through the rest of this schedule. Super excited for the dinner. We've seen the menu. It looks very delicious this year. Keep rolling here. Guys, really dig through this check-in process. This is going to be really important, but this basically outlines your participant check-in. When you arrive at the Americay, you're going to want to go into the hotel lobby and you're going to want to go into the registration room. It's called the fishbowl room. As you're walking into the Americay, into the main entrance, it's going to be, you'll kind of follow it. It's going to be the room right on your left. You'll follow it around a little bit across the bar over by the bathroom. So first stop is going to be the registration room. You cannot do anything until you have gone in and gotten registered. From there, you're going to head over to kayak check-in. This is where you're going to check in your kayak, and or if you've rented a kayak through our rental program, we're going to be able to match you up with that. Again, please note, we can't guarantee all the kayaks show up at the exact time that you show up. So if your kayak's not ready, it is certainly on the way. Just be patient with us because the kayaks are pre-assigned. Our vendors actually do a great job of putting everybody's name on their kayaks and everything ahead of time to keep that nice and organized. Make sure you're attending one of the safety briefings. This is super important. Not only is this, our time to go over everything with you, it's also the only time that we have everyone's attention and we can review any changes that may have been made to the course, to how we're doing things, anything like that. We're going to review that at those safety briefings. So it is required that you attend one. You'll be asked to check in as you do, and we just need to make sure that everyone has planned to attend one of those meetings on Friday. Scroll on down. We've got our course map here. You can take a look at that. That was reviewed earlier. Race start details. Again, you will start separate from your kayaker, but everybody must be paired up by buoy 2. Solos will go out first, followed by doubles, our 2-person, then 3-person, then 4-person relays. This details out things to remember while you're on course. A lot of that Jarrett reviewed earlier. Keep scrolling down. Feeding and safety vessels, again, that was reviewed a little bit earlier, but just make sure you understand. Also, do not rely on the feeding and safety vessels for your nutrition. You are required to bring your own nutrition, your own hydration. Those are there as more of an emergency touch point. And in case you accidentally run out of something, but do not plan on those. You need to have everything that you need for your swim prepared on your kayak before you depart. And then our finish line procedure. So it's going to be really important both as you're getting in the water or as you're putting your kayak in the water and as you're getting out of the water, pulling your things back up on shore. We're going to have a check-in table in the kayak area, and then we're also going to have folks checking folks in as we get in and out of the water. So you're going to want to make sure you get checked in and checked out. That's just so we can verify that you have entered the water and that you have exited the water safely. We will have results posted. Basically, as people cross the line, you'll be able to go over and see your time. However, please give time for all results to be official, as the results do have to be finalized and approved before they are marked official. So if you see that you've got a placement or something like that, definitely, hang around, plan to be at the awards dinner. Make sure you've got your ticket, but those are not finalized until the very end when they've been reviewed by the referees. Time to relax. Make sure you're enjoying everything that the Keys has to offer. And then I want to point out, we've added this section this year. This is some really great overall advice and a really awesome packing list that were provided to us. I want to give a shout out to some people on this call. Maggie Owens and Pam Owens, in addition to Connor and Lydia Signorin. They put a lot of time and effort into helping us develop this in a super easy to read and understand format. So really take some time to dig into that. There's a wealth of knowledge kind of tucked into a few pages here, and this should really help you out as you're planning both your packing and then how you're going to approach the day. Keep scrolling down. Chick sitting out by the water. Area info and host hotels. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the Americay. Parking, this is our parking information about the day of. And then what to do in town. The Florida Keys, Visit the Florida Keys does a phenomenal job of creating a very robust website with all kinds of information on what to do while you're down in the Keys. Make sure you're checking that out. And of course, we want to thank all of our sponsors, without whom we could not do this event. So just big shout out to all those businesses that have put time and effort into helping us with the event this year. So that is your athlete guide. Um, One quick note too, Denise, thanks for this reminder. You are required to have your ID ready at check-in. This is not negotiable. I don't care if someone knows you. That's not to be rude. Again, we have to legally have your ID to check you into this event to ensure you are who you're saying you are. So make sure that you have that ready. If you are halfway across the street and you realize you've forgotten it, safely turn back around, go back to your car, and grab that because you will need it to check in. The link to sign up for the awards dinner, you can purchase those tickets in your registration. Again, log into Run Sign Up. You'll go to My Registrations, click on Manage My Registration, and in that gray bar at the top, you'll see an add-ons. Click on the add-ons, and you can actually add and pay for your dinner tickets there.
I did also want to mention we typically every year have a little bit of a problem, though we do set up some signage where on Thursday and Friday swimmers do like to go out around the dock and even out past the dock for a little warm-up swim there just off of the Americay Resort. That area is closed down. It is an active boat channel. There are a lot of boats coming in and out, and when they do, they have to come in at full speed to stay on plane because the depth of the water is pretty small. It's only a few feet in some of those areas, so it's very dangerous to be out there in the water. We will have signs posted as we do every year that says no swimming. We are setting up and sometimes in the registration room, so we don't always catch everybody that goes into the water there. But again, please do not swim out in front of the Maracay. The only time that we have that area blocked off is for that 8 hour period on race day. Any other time, it is extremely dangerous to be out there in the water. So please do not do so. Casey, I think we have a couple more questions here.
Will support kayakers for solo swimmers receive a medal?
Yes, absolutely. We will have medals for both swimmers and solo kayakers as well. Definitely. Yep.
Will
Any other
Founders Park
questions?
pool be available outside? Did we already answer that, Matt?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Will Founders Park pool be available outside the 8 to 10 a.m. practice time? I recommend you call. They do have times where the pool is shut down for swim team and things like that. So I would definitely, if you have a time in mind, give them a call. They're usually pretty flexible with letting people in, but they do sometimes have that rented out based on team practices and things like that.
I think that was the only one that we missed.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any other questions at all?
Matt, I do have one comment. This is Jared.
Sure, please.
So I saw through the guide that one of the main objectives was a waterproof case for your phone, right? That's very important because, as I forgot to mention previously, your support kayak will have the phone. Make sure that they have a way to get to it if they have the kind that you can actually dial and transmit without taking it out of the case. That's actually better for them. So that way they're not fumbling around and accidentally dropping it, because that's going to be your only means of communication back to shoreside support if you have an emergency or you need assistance if there's not a support vessel near you. Also, with that being said, just planning for contingency. If you have an older phone that the battery dies quickly, you might want to look into getting one of those little solar chargers out there and just have that ready to go, or one of those chargers that you can charge ahead of time that gives you some extra battery backup. So that's all I got on that point. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, great tips. Thank you so much. And thank you to Maggie, who's on here with us, a part of the team putting all that together. Any other questions for the chat? Okay, I don't see any coming through. Any parting words, Larry?
Train and be safe.
Yeah, that's right.
It is considered the 7th most challenging swim in the world by Red Bull, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So it is, it can be the most fun you ever had, or it can be scary. So,
Yeah.
take it serious.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate that. Rob Dixon is back with us here tonight, though on mute and driving home.
I'm
Any
off,
final
but
words, Rob?
hope you trained. Because yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. Like Larry said, sometimes it's glassy calm, but that's not usually the case. And you never know what you're gonna encounter out there. So be ready for anything. Be safe, and as Jared said, listen to every safety official on the course because they're out there to help you. And don't be don't be a bad person. Just be there's a lot of work that goes into this that Matt and Casey, Jared do, as well as many other people, Maggie and the crew. So just be a good person, as Casey says.
Yeah. And we feel bad having to mention that so much, but there's a reason for it. And every single year, there's some choice comments that are made to the staff and certainly to the water safety team on the water. So unfortunately, it's part of the process. But as Casey mentioned, please listen to Jarrett and the entire water safety team. They are giving you instructions for a reason. They can see a lot more from the boats of what's happening. They've got a lot more experience on this particular body of water than anybody that's going to be swimming or kayaking. So they're out there for a reason. Their knowledge and expertise is key to the event success. So please keep that in mind. Jarrett, any parting words from you?
No, thanks everybody for getting on tonight. I hope some of these answers to the questions help you prepare better. And if you are training and you're a kayaker that has not been out in elements before, please make sure that you have protection to cover yourself so you're not going to get sunburnt because that next day could be very bad if you're out there for 4 to 6 hours floating around on a kayak.
Yeah, certainly. Casey, how about you? Any parting words?
No, I think we are good to go.
Okay, well, Casey and I are picking up signage tomorrow. Registration materials. Will be stuffing packets over the weekend. Picking up a van on Monday, loading it, and starting our trip down there on Tuesday. So we're excited for the days to come. We like this part now that all the hard work is done. We just get to load up and get down there and set everything up for the crew to have a good time and certainly host this event with a lot of friends and family that we love so dearly. So this is a best week of the year for us. We can't wait to see you down there. If any questions come up, we have the first webinar that's on the website. We'll post this one here shortly. Anything else that comes up, please feel free to give us a call or to email us. And good luck, everybody. Travel safely, and we will see you soon down in Isla Mirada. All right. Bye-bye.